again, in this lesson we're going to be graphing linear equations. They're all in slope-intercept. We're going to be using slope-intercept form today. Okay, so we're given the equation y equals negative x plus 3. So we need to look at the coefficient of x. In this case, it's negative 1. So we can rewrite that as negative 1 over 1 if it helps you. That is our slope. And the number that is added or subtracted is our b, or our y-intercept value. So these two important numbers will help us graph this line. So because our y-intercept is 3, or 0, 3, we would go up 3 and put a point at 0, 3 on the y-axis. Now our slope is negative 1 over 1. So that's a negative 1 rise, or down 1. And then we're going to move over 1 to the right, and there is another point that will be on our graph. We can keep going like this, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, to add more points. We could even go and kind of use the reverse. Following the pattern backwards, there would be more points here and here. But all of these points are all forming the same line, this equation, y equals negative x plus 3. Put arrows on the ends of our lines to show that it would keep going in both directions. Let's look at a couple of more examples. Here we have y equals 3x minus 4. So our slope is 3, or in other words 3 over 1, a rise of 3 and a run of 1. B is negative 4, which would mean the point 0, negative 4. So 0, negative 4 is down 4 on the y-axis. And our slope is 3 over 1, so that means up 3 over 1 to the right. We can keep doing that, up 3 over 1 to the right. And we have room for one more. Great. So these points form our line. A ruler would be helpful, so you can make a nice straight line, straighter than mine hopefully. Now, if we see a fraction, it's actually easier. They've already just kind of labeled the rise and run for us, basically. So our slope here is 2/5, and b is 2, or 0, 2. So 0, 2 is right there. Up 2 over 5 would be up 2 over 5 right there. There would be a point back here as well that would kind of follow the pattern in reverse. So those points form the line that goes for our equation. Now, if we peer down, we see number 10 and 11 look different. These equations, unlike the equations we saw up above, are not in slope-intercept form. They're not in the form y equals mx plus b. But if we think about it, slope-intercept form is really just an equation where y is by itself. Y has been solved for. So we can do that to these equations to solve them. So we're going to subtract x from both sides. It's like our literal equation practice from before. So 2y is equal to, I'm going to put the x term first because that's matching with my slope-intercept form. So it's a negative x, and that's a positive 4. Now I need to divide by 2 over here. I can divide the whole thing over here by 2, but I'm going to want to do that in stage. I'm going to divide each term by 2. So here I'm going to even write that down, extra steps here that you might be able to omit in the future, but we're dividing both terms by that 2. Now, instead of just leaving it as negative x over 2, I'm going to make that negative 1/2, because there's a negative 1 in front of x, negative 1/2 x and plus 2. That looks like our slope-intercept form, and now we can go and graph it like before. We've got a point at 0, 2, 2 up on the y-axis, and our slope says go down 1 and to the right 2. So we can keep doing that to get a few more points here, and then we can connect our points with a nice straight line. So when it's not in slope-intercept form, we can solve for y to make it slope-intercept form, and then we can graph it as we were doing previously. For these examples, we're being asked to identify the slope and the y-intercept and then write the equation, putting those pieces together. So here, we're kind of going backwards from what we had earlier. This is the point 0, negative 3. So b is negative 3. Slope is going up 3 into the right 1. So 3 over 1 is equal to 3. So when we write our equation, we're going to write y equals 3x minus 3. Please don't write plus negative 3. We can clean that up. We can do better than that. So just leave it as minus 3 there.